What's for dinner tonight? Approaching me, something asks this. I no longer thinking it's human, didn't respond to such a thing, and then quickly washed the dishes and headed to the bedroom to sleep. Hey Maria, what's wrong? That annoying thing follows me. Feeling annoyed, I still ignore it and enter the bedroom, closing the door. I have work tomorrow, so I need to sleep early. I can't afford to pay attention to that annoying thing. Maria, I don't know what you're mad about, but don't ignore me. Something wraps itself around me with a somewhat panicked voice. Feel annoying as ever, but I continued my life as usual. I don't know what I did, but it must be your fault.
Been talks about that annoying thing, but I wasn't concerned.
At best, I wonder how we can even bother talking to it. Well, to me, it's just an annoying thing. I say this with a smile. I'm Maria, a 36-year-old working part-time. I have a husband, Tom, and a son, Ben. I met Tom when I was in college. At the same time as I started college, I moved to New York and lived alone. Please, we're short on people. Okay, but I might not talk much. I was invited by a college friend to a mixer where Tom was present. Maria, are you okay? Tired, maybe? Being from the countryside, I tried not to embarrass myself and mostly stayed quiet. Tom kindly spoke to me and made interesting conversations, making me laugh. Thanks to him, I relaxed and started to feel attracted to him. Hey Maria, would you mind exchanging contact info? I'd like to talk more with you. So, when he asked me at the end of the mixer, I was overjoyed. And I immediately reported it to my best friend, Lisa. I wish I had a boyfriend too. We're not dating yet. Lisa, my childhood friend since kindergarten, and I shared everything. She has a cute, refined look and has always been called cute by everyone. Lisa, with your looks, you'll find a boyfriend easily. I'm tired of hearing I'm cute. I'm not interested in someone who doesn't see beyond that. Despite her refined looks, she speaks her mind. Because of her personality, she was sometimes isolated from others. But I've always liked her for that. Congrats anyway. Let me meet him when I come to New York. Sure, of course. She didn't go to college but worked locally for her dream. So we couldn't meet easily. But talking every day was enough for me. Then Tom and I started dating after several meetings and his confession. Our relationship went smoothly, and we married right after I graduated from college. Tom, I think I'm pregnant. Really? Great job, Maria. I began working as an office clerk, but when I got pregnant, Tom asked me to quit and become a stay-at-home mom. A few years passed, and when Ben started elementary school and needed less care, I thought, maybe I should start a part-time job. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It must be boring at home alone when Ben's at school. Tom agreed, and I began working part-time. It was a struggle at first, returning to work after such a long break, but now I'm enjoying it. Those were my normal, peaceful days. Hey Maria, don't monopolize them too much, okay? Then one day, I got a somewhat angry call from my mother-in-law. To summarize, she hadn't seen Tom and Ben recently and didn't want to see me, so she demanded that I send them to her house alone. Okay, I'll let Tom know. She adores her only son, Tom, and her grandson Ben. On the other hand, she sees me as the enemy who stole her precious son. After you gave birth to Ben, you became useless to me. My father-in-law, on the other hand, always keeps out of it. Ben is smart. He only shows interest in Ben, but stewing on him together with my mother-in-law. I'm the only one not accepted in that family, so I just have to endure it alone. Welcome back. Hey, do you plans with friends this weekend? Nothing special. I'd rather hang out with Dad. While washing his hands, Ben answered my question. When I told him Grandma wants you to come over and play, his expression changed. I decided to ask him more about it. They treat me like a baby, he explained. They think as long as they give him snacks and toys, they can do whatever they want. They don't let him be free. They only want to dote on him as they please. He said this calmly, unlike a child. I'd rather go to my other grandma's house, he added. I chuckled at that. My parents live in a rural area far away, and we can hardly visit them, maybe once a year. I'll talk to your dad when he gets home. Okay, he replied and went to his room to do homework. As I watched him leave, I pondered how to discuss this with Tom. Tom is a busy manager at a large corporation, often coming home late. Even today, he didn't return until after Ben had gone to bed. Your mom called? She wants you to bring Ben over, without me, of course.
Tom made a displeased face.
He made a displeased face when I told him. He seems to be annoyed by his mother's doting. I can't. I have a business trip this weekend. I was surprised, but not for the first time. So I just said, oh, I see. He can't go to his parents' house because of the trip. But he didn't want to call and refuse, probably to avoid his persistent mother. Well, I guess I have to call her. Yes, please. Maybe you and Ben should go out this weekend, just in case she decides to drop by unexpectedly. I thought about it for a moment. He'll be leaving for his trip on Friday. Maybe it's a good idea to visit my parents' house as Ben wants. So after discussing it with Ben, we decided to go to my parents' house right after school on Friday. Jay! I'm happy to see my other grandparents. Seeing Ben's happy face, I thought I could endure my mother-in-law's calls for his sake. On the few days after spending the weekend at my parents' home, I received a call from Lisa. I was excited to a crumped. Long time, no see. Maria, can you listen to my rant for a bit? Do you have time? Sure, I'm free. Lisa had reached out to me. Ideally, it would be on my day off from my part-time job, but it might be difficult since she's coming from the countryside. As I was thinking about how to manage it, she surprised me. Actually, I've moved to New York too. I's Paris as around here now. I received a surprising report from her. She was living not too far from my area. So we decided to meet at a nearby cafe. You should have told me sooner. Sorry, I've been busy with my startup. Apparently, she had fulfilled her dream of starting a business about 10 years ago and had been busy stabilizing its performance. Also, I heard raising kids is tough. I didn't want to bother you. Don't worry about it. Maria, you're too kind. You'd sacrifice your own time even if it's tough for you. If I said I wanted to meet, you'd come despite your own difficulties. That's why I couldn't just ask you easily. Her words made me chuckle bitterly. She was spot on. So, what's this rant about? It's about my boyfriend. Apparently, she had been dating someone for 10 years. They even had a sleepover date at her place last weekend. We talked about marriage, but her boyfriend didn't agree. There was more she didn't like. He has a kid, yeah, but that's okay. Single parents are common nowadays. Her boyfriend is a single father with a 10-year-old son. But Fox, considering our age, I at least want to meet his son. Have you told him that? I shouldn't, of course, but he always says eventually and leaves it vague. Lisa seemed serious, wanting to advance the relationship because she was serious about it. By the way, what's your boyfriend like? He's a gentleman. He's a manager at a big company nearby. His son's name is Ben, I think. At her words, I was taken aback. The description matched to Tom. He had said he was going on a business trip over the weekend. I hadn't thought much of it as it's usual for him, but is it normal to have sudden business trips on weekends? With these thoughts, I tried to hide my anxiety and asked Lisa, "What's your boyfriend's name?" "It's Tom." Hearing that, I fell silent. It was almost certain they were the same person.
Maria, what's wrong?
"Nothing, it's nothing." I couldn't bring myself to tell Lisa my thoughts. I was afraid of causing a rift between Tom, Lisa, and myself. Why is this happening? Then I started to ponder deeply. Could it be that Tom and Lisa were having an affair? But Lisa thinks Tom is a single father. Is Tom deceiving Lisa? Or is Lisa lying? The more I thought about it, the more my mood plummeted. In the first place, how did the two of them even meet? Then my mother-in-law called. "Maria, we don't need you anymore. Give up your custody of Ben and get a divorce. Tom already has someone better." Her words felt like a shock to my head. Lisa's face came to mind. You could never match up to such a refined young lady. It's about her, isn't it? As I fell silent, my mother-in-law kept pressing on. "She's more suitable to be Ben's mother than you are. So for Lisa's sake, you should step aside. Lisa thinks Tom is single. Your existence is just getting in the way." Hearing this, something inside me broke, and what came to mind was Tom's behavior up to now. My mom expects a lot from you. That's why she can be harsh. He never defended me from his mother's insults. Childcare is a stay-at-home mom's job, right? He hardly participated in housework or childcare. "I'm home. Hey, don't upset Mom too much." Even when I was driven out of his family's house, he didn't contact me and casually returned home the next day. As all this time, I had been tolerating Tom's unpleasant actions. After remembering this, my affection for him faded rapidly. On top of everything, he betrayed me with my dear friend. That's not what a human does, and so I couldn't see Tom as a human anymore. Had changed how I perceived him. I went about my usual routine, washing the dishes after Ben went to bed. "I'm home," a voice said. That something came into the living room. "What's for dinner tonight?" Approaching me, that something spoke. They, no longer seeing it as human, didn't respond and quickly finished washing the dishes. Heading to bed, I heard "Samte, Maria." "What's wrong?" That annoying something followed me. Just feeling irritated, I ignored it and closed the bedroom door behind me. I have work tomorrow, so I need to sleep early. I can't afford to pay attention to that annoying thing. Since then, I kept ignoring that annoying thing. Looks only preparing meals for Ben and me, leaving its laundry untouched. I continued my household chores as usual, without paying any mind to it. Then, Maria, I don't know what you're mad about, but don't ignore me. That something with a somewhat panicked voice tried to engage with me. Still annoying as ever, I carried on with my life as normal. I don't know what I did, but it must be your fault, right? I didn't do anything. It's just Maria who I don't care. I'm on Mom's side. At best, I was surprised he could even bother to talk to it. Mom, I'll help out. So, you rest? Ex-Ben, who cared for me, was incredibly dear to me. While smiling at Ben, this can't go on. It's bad for Ben's education. Mom, I'll help out. So, you rest. Mom, I'll help out. So, you rest. That something suddenly blurted out and started making calls, which I ignored and continued my chores. Then I'll call Mom's parents. Seeing someone's actions, Ben sensed my crisis and called my parents. We ended up having a discussion with our family and that something's grew. How dare you ignore Tom? Who do you think you are? And a hysterical something yelled. I couldn't see her as anything but something. Before we talk, there's someone else I want to invite. My father said and contacted someone. The response was, how dare you deceive me and Maria? It was my friend Lisa. She glared at that something, who looked shocked. I wondered why Lisa was here, and then my father explained, Ben told me a few days ago that something was wrong with Mom. So, I had a detective look into it. Turns out, Tom, that something was dating Lisa. Dating Lisa. When my father asked Lisa, it became clear she was deceived by something. She arrived today for the confrontation. Because of all people, my best friend Maria's husband. Calm down, Lisa. Don't call me. You're all in this together, aren't you? Then Lisa's torrent of revelations began. She saw something on a dating app. It was on their first meeting. Someone told her, I'm a single father with a child. Even then, you dared to say, I'd like to marry you. I thought you were sincere, but you're just the worst. Well, that is, stared down by Lisa, that something stumbled over its words. It seemed he couldn't find any words to argue back. So you pretended to be someone else to get close to Lisa. Were you planning to take only Ben if things went south? Well, if you had to let go of Ben, she would have been a hassle, wouldn't she? That's what my mother muttered. Maria, I'm really sorry. I didn't know Tom was your husband. I'll definitely pay alimony. I smiled warmly at her. Don't worry about it. As far as I'm concerned, I no longer have a husband. I could tell that something annoying was startled. Pointing at it, I declared, to me, it's just an annoying thing. I said that with a smile. Lisa looked surprised at my words, but soon muttered, I've always been known to be kind-hearted, always lending a hand to those in trouble, yielding to others in disagreements. If there was a problem, I thought it was fine as long as I endured it. I could endure more than others. If that made everyone else happy, that was my mindset. But you're kind, always enduring. But when you reach your limit, you're scarier than anyone else. I could see that something was confused by these words, and she directed a cold gaze towards them. You've taken advantage of her kindness, directing a cold gaze towards them. You've taken advantage of her kindness, making her endure so much. Then a trigger came, and she reached her limit of endurance. he can't recognize you as human anymore. Lisa explained to me, exactly as she said. I considered both him and his parents as just annoying things. I can't see you as human anymore. So that's why you're ignoring me? I said something, his voice trembling. That's so cruel. What are you talking about? If what mom's doing is cruel, then isn't what dad has done all this time not cruel? At that moment, Ben, who should have been in his room, appeared. And to that annoying thing muttered, "What are you talking about?" Well, when mom was in trouble, dad just ignored her, right? I didn't. Then why were you laughing when grandma was yelling at mom? When she was kicked out, you were just drinking with grandpa. Even when I asked you multiple times to help mom, you did nothing. Ben rushed to me, glaring at that annoying thing. Dad was the first one to ignore, wasn't he? That's when Lisa stroked Ben's head, her eyes saying, "Well done." So that's how Maria has been treated. I understand now. How could you treat someone's daughter like that? We'll make sure to get the alimony for Maria's sake. I'd sit you in front of Maria or me again. While hanging her head, something whispered, "All right." Then something happened, and that was my husband and I divorced. I decided to go back to my parents' house, and they told me to take a break for a while. Of course, Ben was with me. "I'll never forgive you. I'll make sure to get every last penny," Lisa said, hiring a lawyer to demand alimony on my behalf. She apologized to me for everything that happened. "I'm really sorry. I destroyed your family. Don't apologize so much. It's not your fault, Lisa." Why did Lisa date someone without any doubt? Simply because she didn't know my husband. But when I was dating, she was still in her hometown, so I never bothered to introduce him. I didn't talk much about it either. Neither did I ask much. Our wedding was small, just close family, and she couldn't attend due to her busy startup. So Lisa never knew what the someone that was my husband looked like or his name. So in return for forgiving you, will you stay my best friend? Of course. If anything, I'm the one asking. The worst part is that the reason he started using the dating app was because you got pregnant. Apparently, he turned to cheating because I couldn't be there for him during my pregnancy.
None of this was her fault. Yet she sincerely apologized many times. And to that Lisa smiled. Her eyes were teary, and she nodded. Our friendship never changed. Meanwhile, Tom, after paying his alimony, returned to his parents' home. Then rumors started to spread that he had cheated with his wife's best friend, and finding no place for himself, he quit his job. I heard he's now holed up in his parents' home.
Maria, don't you feel angry towards Tom? Well, I still can't recognize Tom as a person. It seems this whole incident took a toll on my psyche. I still can't see them as human. The doctor told me to take it easy and recover slowly. Ben told me about the awful treatment you got from Tom's parents. It seems Ben was frustrated every time he saw me being mistreated. Isn't being a child, he couldn't protect his mother. Maybe that's why he matured faster than his peers. Recently, he's been a bit clingy. That's adorable. Now, Ben holds my hand wherever we go, and when I stroke his head, he giggles, which is just so cute. Fetchian, so. He said he wants to protect me and started martial arts. Really, Ben is so manly. I wish I had a boyfriend like him.
She was probably in a hurry to find someone since I was married and pregnant, and she felt left behind.
That's why you need to be more discerning with men. I'm rooting for you. Lisa doesn't know, but I received a call from Tom's parents. They demanded Benjamin. I'm not theirs. I don't want anything from those people. Benjamin said firmly, and since then, they've stopped contacting us. Seeing Benjamin so dependable made me realize I need to change too. It's not just about enduring. I need to find the strength to face challenges. I've decided that... Maria, I heard you're going to work again. Yes, I'm starting today. After a break, and with the doctor's approval, I decided to go back to work. Supporting Benjamin is important even though we have child support. So, you're working as an office worker? Yes, for the lawyer who helped us. I'm going to work at the office of the lawyer who took care of us during this ordeal. He looked out for me and came to see me regularly, leading to this opportunity. I'm actually excited about going to work, I admitted. It'll be different from the part-time work I used to do, more demanding, but I'm excited about starting something new. It's a pity. I wanted to hire you, but the lawyer got you first, Lisa said, feigning a pout. She probably thought she would have hired me, but I wanted to change. I might rely on her too much if I worked with her. To avoid that, I decided to accept the lawyer's offer. By the way, Tom's parents' house was sold recently. It seems they pushed all the blame for the incident onto Tom and forced him out. Neighbors witnessed it all, rich already known for mistreating their daughter-in-law. They faced disdain for kicking out their doting son and eventually sold their house to escape. Apparently, they made a mess of their new place and are now homeless. Isa said, Tom's parents, unable to change, ended up in a dire situation. And Tom? I actually know where Tom is. After the divorce, he sent a letter to my parents' house. I couldn't open it at first, but I recently read it. I truly regret everything. I'll live only to provide child support for Benjamin out of your sight. The letter included a photo of Tom at an international airport. He plans to live alone in a foreign land where he knows no one. Maria, do you know anything? No, I lied. He might be feeling cornered like I once did, but it's no longer my concern. I decided to forget about Tom. Mom, are you done talking? Yes, we're done now. Then help me with my homework. There's something I don't understand.